Welcome back to yet another IM3 recap. This is part of your test review. Once again, there are multiple videos in this, so make sure you are watching all of the videos. This is a factoring problem. This factoring problem is really awesome because it does just about everything factoring can do. So I look at this and my first step is, whoa, scary. But that's okay because we know we can do hard things. So I know that when something looks a little intimidating, the very first thing I want to do is see if there's a greatest common factor. So I look across all of these numbers and I see that they're all divisible by 2. So I'm going to pull out a 2. I also then look and see that this one has x cubed, x, and x. So they all have at least one x, so that's going to be pulled out as well. Those are the only things that it has in common, so I'm going to go ahead and start factoring this. I'm going to take those things out. When I'm at this step, whenever I've pulled out a greatest common factor and I know that I'm going to do more factoring, I'm going to put this kind of squiggle highlight around it. That's because I'm going to leave it there and I'm not going to come back to it for a while. I'm not going to come back to it until my very last step. Now that I've pulled that out, I can see that I have 4 terms. And I had 4 terms here, but I wanted to simplify it. Now that I'm here and I've simplified as much as I can, I have 4 terms. My next step is, can I group? So I'm going to group the first 2 and the second 2 and see if there's anything greatest common factors that I can pull out there. So in this first this first set of 2 terms, the only thing they have in common is an x squared. So I'm going to bring that out. Now 8x squared y cubed divided by x squared leaves me with the 8y cubed. Now this is where some people get a little oops. I have to put that plus sign. We have to have 2 terms still. X squared divided by x squared is 1. So we leave that 1 there because we're dividing. So I come over to the next parenthesis side. The very first thing I see is that negative. I want to pull that out. And then both terms are divided by 4. That is going to give me 8y cubed. And then negative 4 divided by negative 4 once again is positive 1. So even though I pulled something out, there's still a 1 remaining. When we do grouping, those 2 GCFs that you pulled out become one factor. And the matching parenthesis set becomes the other factor. Now, some people might want to stop here. But we know that if the degree on any of your factors is greater than 1, we want to see if it goes further. So this is actually a difference of squares. And I know that a difference of squares becomes x plus 2, x minus 2. Getting a lot closer, but now I come over here and I say, hey, this actually is a sum of cubes. So as a reminder, a sum of cubes is going to give us that formula a plus or minus b, a squared minus plus ab plus b squared, where a is the cube root of what you have here and b is the cube root of what you have here. Remember the signs, we're going to use the acronym SOAP. So same, opposite, always, positive. So I'm going to break this down even further. I know that the cube root of 8y cubed is 2y, and the cube root of 1 is just 1. So this becomes my a and my b. So I'm going to plug them into this formula. I'm going to do my signs last. So it's going to be a, 2y, and then b. When I do a squared, I want to make sure that I'm squaring both things. So that becomes 4y squared. For ab, I'm going to multiply 2y and 1. And the last thing is just b squared, which is 1 squared, and 1 squared is 1. Now I can go put those signs in. So this is based on the sign that you had in the original sum of cubes. So the first one is same, so I'm going to put in a plus sign. Opposite, negative, always positive. Now we're going to bring those last parts with us. We're going to bring in that x minus 2 and x plus 2. And this, because all of these have a degree of 1 except for this one. But we know that we've done a sum or difference of cube. This is not going to factor further. And so therefore, we can say we're ready for our 2x. We bring it to the front. And bam, this was factoring it. So it looked really scary to start with. And it did have a difference of squares. It had factor by grouping, it had greatest common factor, and it had a sum of cubes. So really it had just about every part that ours could have. So that is a good review on all types of factoring.